guest is a graduate of Texas A&M with a bachelor's degree in sports science and management. He began his baseball coaching career at his alma mater, Bradwood High School in Texas, where he coached for 10 years and was part of 2 regional finals, 2 regional semifinals, 2 regional quarterfinals, and in 2011 was the hitting and infield coach for the undefeated Texas 5A state championship team. Holy crap. Moving into his 18th year, or maybe 19 by now, he has been a personal hitting instructor in the Houston area and is in the process of writing a book. He has grown an Instagram following of over 130,000 followers, and he's going to tell us exactly how he did that. And a fun fact, we've known each other since we were in first grade. Welcome to the Social Sunshine Podcast, Josh Cathcart.
How are you, ma'am? Pleasure to be here.
Thank you for being here. It's so funny to say welcome to the Social Sunshine Podcast, Josh Cathcart.
Well, it's kind of funny watching you dance around on a treadmill. So it all works out.
Yeah, every once in a while, I'll think to myself, like, people that know you in real life see this, Brittany. You do realize that, right?
I think that's what makes it better, though. Just doing your thing, and it's awesome.
Yeah, just having fun. Well, I'm so happy to have you on here. I love that we're still connected after all this time. That's one of the reasons why I like social media. I know some people don't like that part, like they don't want to talk to people from their past.
Yeah.
But I like that. Like you've done the business thing on social media, but do you also like to keep in touch with loved ones, or how do you what's your view on social media in general?
Well, not from a personal standpoint, I really don't stay in contact with many people. I do with my family now that my daughter's 11 and sees dad as a YouTuber and online all the time. Like she's got big into like video editing. She rides horses. And so she has us video everything from her lessons, send her the videos. Then she gets into Cathcart and she does it all. And then she'll send them to me, and I created an Instagram account, like another one on me for her. So just getting into that, I do it. My parents follow a lot. I have, I guess, more so probably baseball relationships now that I stay in contact with around around the country. There's a couple people that we went to school with. Tia, I give her son lessons. I see her. I talked to Christina Bustillos a little bit here and there. And then just some old baseball players, that get back and forth. But overall, I can't tell you the last time I checked my personal Facebook. Yeah, my personal Instagram is really only when my daughter's around is the only time I post. Everything else is, through baseball. So yeah, It's a weird world, man. It's I don't know. It's taken a lot because this is my second business, like online business. And I can't really go into details of the other one for legal reasons, but there was another business me and a business partner had. It was pretty big. It had gotten to like 83,000 on Instagram. It had gotten up to like 32,000 on YouTube, over 100,000 on Facebook. So it was pretty substantial. And then our relationship deteriorated. And so went our separate ways. I started hitting Done Right. Oh man, the time flies. It was March of last year. And everybody, I guess, switched over once they figured out that I had changed, and then it's grown exponentially, especially on Instagram.
March of 2022?
No, 2020, yeah.
And we're in the summer of 2023. Josh, that's really impressive to grow like that much of an audience in just over a year. I mean,
but I mean, you got the way that I look at it though, like 80, and again, I know that all of your followers online, not yours, just people in general, I know they're all not real people. Like there's bots, there's people that never pay any attention. You get all that. But I kind of look at it as there were 83,000 already, and they just kind of came over. So I really look at it more as like, hey, it's about 50,000. But the grand total is 135 and counting at this point. So
that's amazing. So let's rewind a little bit, because I think a lot of people listening will relate to just the fact that like you're a business owner, you're getting on social media to help support your business, like just the typical story of that, right? Like, but so many people have trouble, I think, with it, and have trouble with showing up on social media, being on camera, all that stuff. So did you was that a process for you? Was that hard to be like, I need to actually talk to these strangers in the audience? Or did you feel comfortable with it from the beginning? Like, how was that process for you?
So with the first business, my business partner basically said, "You're really good at what you do. We should put this on social media." I never thought about putting baseball on social media. Like, I was a baseball coach in a little facility in Pearland doing my own thing in a cage. Like, I never once thought about putting it out there. Um, so I was like, okay, if you say so, I mean, whatever. It's a new adventure. Let's see what happens. Being in front of the camera just kind of came naturally, I guess. Like, my YouTube videos, I don't ever redo them. Like, they're one shot wonders, all of them. So, they're not professionally done. They're done on my iPhone. Takes me about 10 minutes to crank one out, and then the captions and put all the bells and whistles on it before you post it. But like we were talking before we started recording, I don't have a computer that I edit anything on. Like, it's very, very raw. And I think that that's something that resonates with my audience. My niche is kind of like 7-year-old to through high school for players, parents, and young coaches just starting out. So it's very, very simple instruction. The thing that I would say is to be not only genuine, obviously, and that's why you're so good. It's because, hey, this is who I am. I'm going to sing. I'm going to dance. I'm going to be goofy. Like, that's, and it works because people can tell that you're not fake about it. Like, that's your personality. That's what you want to put out there to the world. And kind of the same thing with me. I mean, I'm really blunt. I'm, straight to the point with stuff. I'm not getting on there and making these videos of production, but I'm super consistent. I get out between 3 and 5 posts a day that are, short form videos. I still to this day try to get back with all reasonable comments and messages, probably to the point that it consumes me a little bit too much. But like I said, I do it to help. And so when people have genuine questions, I try to get back with them. And that's been something that I have come to find out is rare, especially in the coaching world. Like, I'll have parents that'll get a hold of me and be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you responded." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Well, we've asked other coaches and they just don't get back to us and this stuff." So,
oh my God. Isn't that mind blowing? It's like, how do you think that you're going to build a business if you don't reply to people? Or mind blowing to me, but whatever.
A lot of it is coaching ego, I think. There's certain coaches at certain levels that are like, "Oh, that's below me. I'm not going to respond to that parent asking about a 7-year-old because I work with college players." Or, I was a big leaguer, so I'm not going to worry about, that kind of stuff. Where
Right.
I'm on the flip side. I was a small baseball player who never played in the big leagues, who had to work really hard at it, had to study for years. And so I feel their pain. Like, I remember being that kid out in the yard with mom trying to figure it out when I was, 9, 10, 11 years old. So yeah. And then, with the elementary PE background, when I was, coaching at Brazoswood, that's what I did as my teaching job. I was teaching elementary PE at Polk. And so dealing with the younger kids and dealing with younger kids' parents has kind of just funneled on over. So yeah,
right.
there isn't any magic formula for me.
Well, you've actually listed every single thing you're supposed to do, so you're doing good. No, but what I was going to say, you brought this up, and this is actually something that I love about you, is that you said, I actually didn't go and do the big league stuff. I didn't go, I wasn't this, famous baseball superstar and all that stuff. And I have the same story. I wanted to be the superstar level of something, and I didn't never, follow through and go for that. And then life takes over, right? We end up having kids, and life happens. And how cool is it though, right? Like, I feel like you could probably really relate to this, that you can still go and like incorporate that childhood dream, that thing that you've always been passionate about, and that thing that you planned on being superstar at, but maybe that part didn't quite work out, but then you find another way to make it like your life, right? Like that's kind of what I've done as a performer, and that's clearly what you've done in baseball. And I just admire that so much, because so many people will be like, oh, fuck it, it didn't work out exactly the way I thought, so I'm just not even gonna try or whatever.
Yeah. And it's again, like I said earlier, it was never my plan. And no matter what happened with the fallout of the first business, like I will always be grateful for my business partner for showing me how to do it. Like, she was a younger female, she was into the social media. Like, I had no idea. Like, she taught me all the Instagram, tricks and hacks and what I should do. I've tried to keep it as much as possible. And at this point, it's that ship has sailed. I tried to keep it as a side gig as much as possible. And now after 5 years, I mean, I'm traveling the country. If I don't have my daughter, I'm traveling the country doing camps. Like and so it's Monday through Thursday, podcast. Then I go and I do my cage stuff. I do online analysis. And then the weekends, I either have my daughter or I'm traveling to do camps. So it's, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Have you had any celebrity sightings? Like, do people recognize you anywhere?
Yeah.
Dude, like Kate is like almost embarrassed at this point. Like, we'll be walking through the airport, or like we were at an Astros game the other day, and people are like, "You're that hitting guy, right?" And it's like, that's kind of cool. But at the same time, it's like, man, I didn't sign up for this. Like, this isn't what I ever had envisioned.
Right. I mean, it's totally what I envisioned, Josh, for myself. So like, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. You wanted to be like this famous actor that everybody knew.
Right. It's like
actress, I guess.
Yeah. No. But you're right. It's cool though too, because I think that it's actually so different than like a traditional celebrity encounter with someone that's maybe in like mainstream media, television, movies, that kind of thing, that we, and of course sports superstars that are on TV and all the things, is that like creators on social media, you can still build up this like following, and people admire you, and you impact their lives, and you literally helping people with every single post that you put up. But it's not that same traditional way. Like, it's more like somebody will approach you, somebody will like actually connect and like maybe feel that deeper connection with you, rather than like a regular celebrity kind of thing,
I totally agree. It hasn't happened a whole lot. The memorable ones were, I was on a subway in New York, and it was this dad and his two sons and a mom, and I was sitting down, and they were like standing, and I could like feel the dad like staring at me. And so I kind of just looked up to like make eye contact, and he's like, "You're that hitting done right guy, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "My sons and I are from Dallas. We watch your stuff all the time." So we sat there and we had a conversation. I happened to have some of my stickers in my backpack, so I gave it to him. Like, that was neat. I was at a Texans game, and somebody in the elevator. So, and they feel like they can talk to you. They feel like they know what you're about,
Right.
Not that those particular people had ever reached out personally, with messages or anything, but
right.
It's not some celebrity walking around with an entourage of bodyguards. Like, I'm just some dude walking around, and I happen to do hitting.
Right.
So
yeah, no, it's cool, and it means that, honestly, in my opinion, that you are doing such a great job, but that you're doing such a great job, because when people say like, I feel like I know you, I've seen you a lot, when they say things like that, that means that you've built up a brand that people trust you now. So to me, that's like, you're doing so good. So wait, you've mentioned YouTube though too. So would you say those are the main platforms for you, or is one more than the other?
It kind of depends on what you're looking for as far as being a parent or player or coach. Instagram is by far my biggest. And that's where I shoot out the content there. I mean, I'll be like, when I said I get like 4 or 5 videos up a day, I'm literally like in the cage in a lesson, and it's like, oh, you're doing this really well. Let me video this and post it for people as an idea. And so
Yep.
it's pretty quick. Um, the YouTube is more like a drill catalog. Like you could go to my YouTube. I think at this point there's like 430 videos or something, and you can literally go down the list and find whatever it is that you want to work on with your hitter. I have a lot of parents and I have a lot of like coaches that will use my YouTube as a practice plan. They'll just go through, pull the videos that they want to use for that day or that week. Um, from a monetary standpoint, YouTube doesn't do much. People think, oh, you get, YouTube and you get a good following. There's all this money. Like some guy the other day, I posted a picture because I went over 5 million views for the month. And I posted a picture of it. And this guy was like, oh my God, that's like 20 G's. I'm like, no, that is not. It's not even in that neighborhood, buddy. Like, that's not how this works. So I think people have a different view of it, but YouTube, I would say, is more my reference content for parents. Right. That's more in depth. Right. They're 5 to 8 minutes instead of 15 seconds. Right. And then Facebook is probably where I actually get the majority of like my online clients, the ones that will send in videos and I'll do analysis, and then I create customized practice plans for the players based off of the swing analysis. And so I have found, and I don't know, you probably the same way, the audiences are a whole lot different on the different platforms. Like Facebook for me is older parents, grandparents, people really trying to help their players because they don't know, they didn't ever play, they don't have good coaches in their area, whatever. For the most part, it's pretty tame. You get a couple idiots here and there, but for the most part, Facebook's pretty tame with trolls and everything. Instagram is more entertainment and a younger crowd. It's high school, college, and then younger adults. That's where you start getting a little bit of the idiots on there. And I'm not one to bite my tongue with people. People are like, oh, take the high road, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sorry, man, like that's not me. If you're looking for somebody to not respond to this, you need to find a different account because I'm not going to sit here and let people bash on me. And then I've gotten all the way away from Twitter. Twitter was just a shit show. It was one of those things where it was like, oh, you have an online business, you need to be on Twitter. And I've gotten to the point that maybe twice a month I'll throw something up there. And then now TikTok. And TikTok again is just a cesspool. But it's the biggest one. Like right now, it's just growing, and that's where the online coaches are doing their stuff. And so I'm on there now. We're talking about figuring out the Instagram and getting the followers up. TikTok is something that I have no idea. Like I have no clue. Like I'll post some videos on there and they'll get 300 views, and I have one up right now that has 3.1 million, and it's the same type stuff. I mean, it's just like, what is going on? And I haven't ever taken the time to really try to figure out the algorithms and when to post and all the trending stuff. I just post.
Well, I think that's a good lesson from you out of all of this for somebody listening that needs some sort of tips or something. It sounds like you don't overthink things when you post on social media, because first of all, you said you posted multiple times a day on most days, which is impressive because so many people have a hard time committing to posting multiple times a week. But it just seems like it's because you're not overthinking it. Like you said, you're not like refilming something a million times. You're in practice. You see a student doing something good, you film it, you post it. Like, it's just not rocket science, right? Like, it's not that deep. You're just doing it. And I think that so many people, I mean, I understand like it's different for different industries, right? Like in certain situations, maybe things do need to be a little bit more produced because maybe it's a beauty brand and you have to have your hair done a certain way and all that stuff, right? But like most places, most brands is not like that, you know? And I think people think, oh, well, I need to, you know, have it perfect and all this stuff. And that ends up, I think, slowing people down, right?
I think that, and from what I've seen, like from other coaches and whatnot, I'm getting to be a kind of a grumpy old man. Like I can feel it coming on, like just from a social media aspect. Because I'm like, I know how I do my stuff, and then I'll look out and I'll see all of this like high production, you know, high editing, all sorts of stuff, and I'm like, guys, it's baseball. Like just get out there and do it. Like it doesn't need to be all this. Where, like you said, if you have somebody that's working for a company or selling beauty products or food, like I get it that there are certain times and whatnot that you need the right lighting and you want everything to be perfect. And don't get me wrong,
Right.
when I'm scrolling through and I see like professional stuff, it's like, oh damn, that looks good. It's just not needed for what I do.
Right.
And that's the thing, you know, like I was telling my boss the other day, because he wanted to like start doing more social media for hardball. And I was like, well, listen, man, I was like, you let me do my thing here. I was like, every single post I put up, I tag hardball, I'm doing something like people know where it's coming from. I was like, but it really is that easy. Like, just shoot a 10-second video, post, and put a little caption. Hey, you know, velocity enhancement class, you know, week 3, done.
Right.
Like,
right.
you know, it doesn't have to be anything real extravagant.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like people have asked, like I've been on multiple podcasts, especially young coaches starting out, you know, how did you build your following? How did you, all I can tell people just for me is be yourself and be consistent, and the interaction is huge.
Right.
You know, getting back to messages, responding to, you know, comments on posts, you know, and really letting people see who you are. You know, going back to the, I don't put up with people's crap. You know, I have people that applaud me for calling out the trolls and be like, thank you. Somebody needs to like let these people know. And then I have
Yeah.
people that are like, oh, you're a professional, you know, you take the high road. And it's like, listen, if you knew the amount of things that I ignore on a regular day compared to the things that I choose to respond to, like it's not even close. I mean, there's tons of stuff that I mean, I'm a, like my block finger and my delete, like I'm blocking and deleting people all the time. But then there's some things that are so ridiculous that I feel like the world needs to know that you're an idiot, you know, and so I'll call you out.
Right.
Um,
I mean,
and that
hey,
may not,
you did it to yourself, people.
for real. It's like, this is a baseball page and you're like getting on here and bashing me and you don't know me. Like, you don't know that kid. Like, that's the thing. When they get on that, oh, that kid swings horrible. Well, he's freaking 9 years old in lessons. Yes, it's not good.
Right. That's what we're working on, motherfucker.
That's what we're here for. So, but I think on some level that people really, really appreciate that because they, number one, they know that I take pride in what I do. I am paying attention. And I'm, you know, just being yourself.
Right. What something else I like about your content is that it's like, to me, granted, I am not a baseball expert, but using my common sense, it's detailed. Like you're really illustrating, like, look at this movement, you know, and you had all the different examples and the dudes that don't have a bat, right, and they're moving. And there was one where it was like his head wasn't moving, but he was moving elsewhere, and all these things, right? And I noticed that detail because people love that. I mean, you're providing value, but I also think this is interesting. A lot of business owners and people in business just trying to attract business and social media, they're afraid to share too much of that, like those details, like as if like, oh, I don't want to give it away for free because then why would they hire me? But that's all wrong. It's like when you give away some details for free, that's when people want to hire you because you've proven that you're such an expert, right?
Well, that's I hear that all the time. Like oh, you give away so much information for free. And that goes back to,
It's so
I didn't
smart.
get it. Well, and it also, like, in my brain and in my heart and everything, I never did this for business. Coaching baseball was never about making money. I legit, until I had my daughter, I thought I was going to be a teacher and a high school baseball coach. Like, it was
Right.
never about the money. I figured that I would be at Brazos Wood. I would stick around. I'd take Bobby Williams' job at some point when he got tired of coaching, and that's where I'd be. And, life changed. And here we are. But that's the thing. I'm not trying to keep any secrets. Like,
Yeah.
I want every young baseball player, softball player, parent to have easy access to correct information. And do I know everything? Heck no, absolutely not. I'm learning every single day from other people that I interact with online. Clients are from around the country that have experiences at different levels. But it's very concise, it's very detailed, and it's easy to understand. And when you can put
Right.
those three things together, where you can give the detail that's also easy to understand and very to the point, people are drawn to that.
Yeah.
Because there's no guesswork. There's,
Right.
it's not like you're just trying to piece it together. When you go home with your kid, you can literally go look at my drills, read the caption, know exactly what we're working on, and know exactly, like, what you should be looking for as the parent or the instructor.
Right. Yeah.
And that,
No.
I was just gonna say, again, it just goes back to elementary PE. It really does. Like, the way that I view the baseball swing is like I'm trying to show a 4 or 5-year-old how to throw, or how to throw a frisbee, or how to jump rope, or whatever. Make it as simple as possible in movements that they are capable of doing.
Right. That's so smart. Yeah, the detail is one of the first things I noticed about your stuff, and I was like, "Wow, it's fantastic," because so many people don't do it. Okay, before I let you go, what would you say, like, now looking back? You've been in your career for a long time, but you've been doing the social media and YouTube stuff for a long time as well. Like, what would you say to somebody that's first starting out? I mean, it doesn't have to be fancy advice, just anything. Somebody that's like wanting to put their like, let's go with sports, let's stay in your area.
Okay.
wanting to put that online, wanting to put it out there. Like, what would you say to that person that's just getting started?
Don't try to overdo things and make yourself stand out as unique. Just stay true to yourself. I see a lot of people that are trying to do too much. And again, I'm just talking about in my area in coaching.
Right. Right.
Just, the information really doesn't change. It's going to be delivered the same. So don't try to make it something it's not. Be yourself. Dive in and make those connections. Find somebody that you like their content, message them, and just say, hey, I'm looking at getting started. I'd love to talk to you about your journey, kind of how you did things. That way, I don't monetize that much, Brittany. Like, you've made, and I can guarantee you that you have made more monetized out of the online than I have. Like, just with the way that you run your seminars and do all of your stuff and all the extra income streams coming in. I have a bunch of followers, but that following doesn't turn into a large bank account. And so if you're trying to do it for money, I don't really have the answers there. I know how to get the following up just with the consistency and being yourself and everything else. But all the money, I have a couple influencer accounts through Instagram, but I don't make anything on TikTok. I don't make anything on Facebook. Like, YouTube's
Right.
very minuscule. Like, my money is still coming in from person to person, online Zoom calls and analysis and doing camps. But that's the number one thing, is just reach out to the people that you like their content, have those conversations with them, and then really, what are the goals? Like, what are you trying to do with this? Are you trying to make it a career? Are you doing it just for fun, because you want to express yourself? don't take yourself too seriously. I have fallen into that trap before when, everything was really blowing up and everything. And you have to stay like true to your roots and why you're doing things in the first place.
Right.
You can't let it consume you because it'll eat you alive.
Yeah, well, and to clarify something that you and I have more in common than I think what you realize is that when it comes to my social media presence, I don't it really mostly just funnels to it's getting attention on me as an individual and on what I'm doing online and my businesses, and then people will end up becoming regular clients, just like with you. Really, you're getting it's more of a traditional thing, right? You're getting your students, and all that, right? And it's really the same with me. Like, and I think it's so overlooked. So many people think that it's like build this following on social media and then work with brands so they'll pay you to post about their shit, and that's going to be a whole thing. But to me, what I've found is that I really just like all that effort benefiting my existing business, like, bringing people into my world, just like you are bringing people into yours. And also not even just bringing new people. Like, think about this. You probably have this happen as well. Somebody that found out about you otherwise, not from social media, but then when they, maybe they decide to work with you or whatever, right? But then when they go to see your social media, it's like this extra validation of like, oh, wow, look, he's like such an expert. And it's just like this kind of cherry on top. So I like the way that you're doing it. And I think that more people could take that approach. It doesn't have to be brand deals and all his like 14 extra streams of income. It could be funnel it to your business and help it, it could support that.
Well, and I think that just comes from talking. That comes from the conversation, because social media is fake. Like at some level, it is like it's a fantasy world that some people are living in. And when you find genuine people doing it because we love what we do, and it happens to be 2023, and social media is the route to go, it is what it is. And I've watched you from afar, just kind of through everything, through, the starting on the treadmill to starting, helping others, the wine, I mean, everything, just your family, and kind of seen it turn into running your own podcast and doing that and having that clientele. And I just don't know that newbies coming into social media would think about that route.
Yeah.
Because everything else out there is brand awareness. I'm going to be an influencer. I'm going to get a TikTok shop. I'm going to have all of this. Instead of, hey, I have a little bit of revenue coming in because I've been doing this a long time and I have a substantial following in companies like that. But at the end of the day, my business is still face-to-face, person-to-person with relationships. It's not me just posting a bunch of crap and making money.
Yep, 100%. I love it so much. I should talk about that more. I think it's important. Like you said, like it's not like we didn't come at it, and I guess it's like, our age range, but we didn't come at it from, oh, I just want to make content and somehow magically money ends up in my bank account simply because I made the videos and didn't do anything further. And that's not what it is. It's the actual like traditional business, like that's been around for a long time, and social media enhances it and makes it better and helps more people find out about you. Essentially, that's pretty much all it boils down to.
That's it in a nutshell. That was a lot better said than I could have said it. So well done, you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Before I let you go, tell everybody, we'll put it in the show notes, but tell everybody how to find you, your work, what you do, how to follow Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff.
All right. So I've got all the platforms minus Twitter, really, at this point. It's Hitting Done Right. Instagram, Hitting Done Right. On Facebook, Hitting Done Right. On YouTube. You can go to my website, which is www.hittingdoneright.com. And that's where all my online services are. Hit swing analysis. You can register for camps. I have a promo code page with a bunch of the products that I endorse as far as training tools.
Cool.
So it's Hitting Done Right. I can right here. You can also get
on your hat.
And my shirt. You can get merchandise on the website too. So we have a lot of inventory. So anybody that wants some stuff, give me a call. Didn't know how that was going to go. My brother was like, "Oh, we should get shirts and hats." I'm like, "Oh, great!" And now we have a closet full of crap that hasn't sold. So you need baseball
okay, you guys,
caps.
y'all need to go. Yeah, go buy some hats.
Yeah.
I love it. We're gonna sell some of those hats for you, Josh. So we're gonna make it happen. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being on my show, Josh. This is so special.
Absolutely. It's good seeing you. Great talking to you. I am extremely proud of you. It's been awesome.
Thank you, babe.